Most people try to manage time as if they control it. But time is God given, not self owned. The secret to good success isn't in squeezing more minutes, it's in aligning your minutes with your mission. You don't manage time, you steward it. In this episode, I'm going to share with you why time management just doesn't work. Let's get into this. I want to welcome you to Connections, Business, and Leadership. I'm your host, Walter Collins. This is where we help small business owners and kingdom-minded leaders to get equipped for good success. We help leaders rise above the chaos by taking back their time and developing systems using God's blueprint for your life. Today, we're diving into a topic that every person is affected by, every business owner. It's time ownership, not time management. Because the truth is, either you choose to own your time or your time owns you. You've heard this saying many times, we all have the same 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, which clearly no one will debate is a true statement. But how we use that time that we've been given determines the course of our lives. So let's first dive into this time management myth, because here it is, plain and simple. Time management is a lie. You cannot manage time because time doesn't bend, it doesn't stretch, and it doesn't pause. No matter what any of us do with it, time just knows how to do one thing and one thing only. Keep on moving. Time is an expert at movement. If time was a gear in our cars, it would be stuck in D for drive. Because time is all gas, no brakes, and it cannot be stopped. So you can't manage it, and you can't manage what you don't own. But what you can manage is your priorities and your attention. Ephesians 5, verse 15 and 16 says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." In this verse, Paul's not saying manage time. He said redeem it. That word redeem means to buy back and to reclaim it, to take ownership of how it's used. It's a big difference in trying to manage it. Time is not your possession. It's your stewardship. It's something that we've been given. God doesn't hold us accountable for the hours we had. He holds us accountable for how we use them. Psalm 90:12 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." This means, God, help me to see time the way you see it, so I make wise choices with it. People often say things like, "I'm going to catch up on my sleep," or "I got to make up for lost time." They even say, "If there were just more hours in the day, then I would get more done." No, if there were more hours in the day, you would actually put more off and you would procrastinate more. What you would do is actually get less done because of the bad habits you've created. Truth is, you can't catch up on time, and you're wasting more time trying to catch something that's invisible and impossible to be caught. Once a moment passes any of us, it's gone, and it's gone forever. Time doesn't get lost. It does get forfeited and given away. So ask yourself, where's your time leaking? Who or what's causing you to give it away? Time being wasted is like having a boat in the water that's moving forward, but it's filled with water because it has holes in it. If we don't address the leaks in the boat, no system or no strategy can save our boat from sinking. It may be sinking slowly, but it's sinking nonetheless. Time is absolutely undefeated. So let's talk about the mindset of ownership, because that's where the real battle happens. Time ownership is actually something that starts internally before it ever shows up externally. It's not just a calendar shift, it's a leadership shift. You're not overwhelmed because of all the things that you have to do and that you have too much to do. You're overwhelmed because you haven't decided what matters most and prioritize that. When you move from how do I get it all done to what's important for me to get done today, you move from reactive to responsible. You move from the reactive owner to the responsible owner. Your daily task list actually becomes something that's not lying to you anymore. Your daily task list or your daily checklist can be the very thing that's lying to you every day. For years, this is something that kept me stuck. The worst part about that is I didn't even realize it. The mistake that I made is something that's about to help you right now, because here's what happened. I took the time to make a daily checklist of my top 10 for the day. I would do this at the start or at the end of each day, most of the time at the start. But throughout the day, I would check things off and mark lines through accomplished tasks. And each day, it looked like I was getting all kinds of stuff done. If you looked at my task list, it looked excellent. But here's the deception, the self-deception. The most important tasks were not even getting done regularly. I made myself feel good. I got the dopamine hit of accomplishments being done, but my income-producing activity, the most important tasks, were remaining unchecked. Your checklist may be lying to you too, so fix it. Do the hard things first and watch how everything else on your checklist changes. Even take it a step further by looking at your calendar and blocking out those hard things first, then filling everything else in around it and watch how your productivity changes. We've all heard these things like use your calendar better, wake up earlier, block your day. These things have value, but they can't fix misplaced priorities. You can manage your time perfectly and still waste your life doing the wrong things. Ecclesiastes 3 says this, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Notice it doesn't say there's a time for everything you want. It says there's a time for purpose. There's a time to plan. And here's a tip for you guys in sales. If you're needing to generate sales leads, this will change things for you if you start doing this in just a few short weeks. Start prioritizing your lead generation first, because you don't have a lead problem. You have a time ownership problem that once you fix that, you'll fix the lead problem automatically. If you look at how much time per day and how much time per week that actually goes into your lead gen, you'll discover the true problem in your business. You block time for prospecting and making connections with people that nothing can interrupt. Give 2 to 3 hours a day just to this. And in 2 to 3 weeks of consistency in your pipeline, it'll be ready to burst. At the max, it'll take 30 days. Every time I had a gap in my lead flow, I could trace it back to a gap in owning and prioritizing my time. I dare you to try it. And then shoot me a message. Every day you're making trades for time. It's either time for purpose or time for pressure. Choose your exchange wisely. In the Bible, Jesus never seemed to rush. He never rushed for anything, but he moved intentionally. He wasn't driven by deadlines, but he was led by purpose. In John 9:4, it says, I must work for the works of him who sent me while it is day, for the night is coming when no man can work. Even Jesus understood divine timing. He knew when to act, when to rest, even when to say no. So let's talk about this trap of busyness that we all fall into at times. Busyness has become the new badge of honor in the world. People brag about being booked and busy, but busyness is not fruitfulness. I love this account in Luke 10. It's an account of two people, two sisters, with two totally different ways of seeing things. It says this in verse 38. Martha was busy with serving, but Mary chose the better part, simply sitting at Jesus' feet. Seems crazy, right? How can sitting still be better than moving around serving? Well, there's a time when doing a good thing can keep you from a better thing or a great thing. Martha did what a lot of us do, and that's fall into the trap of busyness, disguised as productivity. Martha was distracted by activity while Mary was devoted to priority. A bunch of activity without alignment and order is actually distraction. When your life is out of alignment and order, even good things become enemies of the best things. So many entrepreneurs and leaders are stressed because they've said yes to way too many things and way too often. You're managing everyone else's priorities and losing sight of your own. You can't redeem time until you learn the power of a good old sanctified no. Saying no to things will free you up in ways you couldn't even imagine. This moves us from management to mastery. How do you move from time management to priority management? Well, let me give you a few other keys here. You define what matters most, what's truly important. What are the things I have to do and what are the things I would like to do? Urgency screams, but importance whispers. If you don't define your priorities, someone else will. Matthew 6:33 says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Here's a priority principle. When God is first, everything else finds its place. This changed everything in my life. Number 2, you align your schedule with your assignment. Your calendar should reflect what you need to prioritize. If your day doesn't support this, it's time to edit your day. Remember, do hard tasks first as much as possible, and always prioritize income-producing activities, or IPAs, in your business. Number 3, you protect your focus. But more importantly, Not everything deserves your attention. Every time you protect your focus, you preserve what truly matters. Our world is in a constant state of competition, and one of the main things it competes for is your attention. You can't control time, but you can govern your attention, your energy, and your priorities. For years, we've been sold this idea of time management. The world even sells time hacks, but God gives wisdom for order. Let's look at King Solomon's example. We find this in 1 Kings chapter 3. When God says to him, "What may I do for you?" Solomon didn't say, "God, will you give me more time? There are only so many hours in a day. I need more." That's not it, and that's not what he asked. What he did ask for is wisdom to lead well, because wisdom is what multiplies time's value. Factor in times of 15 minutes in the morning and the evening to check emails and return messages. Never allow yourself to do this all throughout the day any longer because it kills productivity. Stopping to check one Facebook message will lead to scrolling, and all of a sudden you wonder, where did all the time go? When the day's planned, you will find this out. You end your day with intention. When you live out of this type of rhythm, you stop operating in a reaction mode and you start operating in ownership mode. Suddenly, your time feels like it's expanding because your days finally align with your priorities. Mr. Business Owner, here's a secret. You can't be the CEO, the manager, and the worker all in one day and have a business that's scalable and sustainable. You're being very busy and not as productive because you're wearing way too many hats. Some call this being too busy working in the business to work on it. It's time to switch that up. Remember, structure isn't restriction, but it's strategy. Most people never develop a plan for time ownership, and before they know it, they're all burned out in their business and in life. They've burned the candle at both ends, and then the candle simply goes out. So here's your assignment for this week. It's time to do a time audit for 3 days. Write down everything you do hour by hour. Do this regardless of how small the task is. Then label each activity, total it all up. And there you're going to find where your business is leading you and you're not leading your business. Rebuild your week using a time blocking model. You write it down or you type it out in a Google Calendar. I know people who use a color coding system for their time just so they control it. This is where you break down your day into segments and protect your time like you're meeting with your most important client, because that's exactly what you're doing. It's that important. You can't scale chaos, and you can't scale what you don't control. If you don't prioritize your time, your business will block it for you. Take at least 1 hour a week to review what mattered most this week, what didn't matter that I took time to do, what needs to shift next week to align with purpose. Take at least 1 hour a week and make sure that you're reviewing it, because that 1 hour will help you redeem hours of wasted effort. Reflection is one of the ways that leaders buy back time. That's how they redeem time. So let's close with this. When God created the world, he didn't rush it and he didn't wing it. He structured time. He created day and night, work and rest. Even the Creator himself modeled rhythm and order. Genesis 2:2 says, "By the seventh day God finished his work, which he had done, and he rested." Rest doesn't mean stopped. It means you've completed what needed to be done for the day. That's ownership. That's stewardship. If God values order over chaos and rest over relentless activity, maybe one of the most spiritual things you can do is to own your time the way he modeled. Thanks for listening today to Connections, Business, and Leadership. If this episode helps you at all see time in a different way, leave a comment. Also, share this with someone else and with another business owner. And if you're someone that's ready to get some help, you can take the next step and download your free business health audit. It's in the description. It'll show you exactly where you're losing time, focus, energy, and even leadership in your business. And then set up a call with me through the link, and we can talk specifically about your situation and help get a plan together for you and your business. You can always email me. I love answering questions. That's at walter@thesolutionsspecialist.com. You can let me know if there's something you're struggling with, and I'll be glad to pray for you on that as well. Until the next time, lead with clarity, live with purpose, and protect your time like it's sacred. Time is God's most equal gift. Every person gets 24 hours, but what separates the wise from the weary is priority. So let's stop asking, how do I manage time? And start asking, how do I align my priorities with my time and prioritize my time better? That's my prayer for you today, that you stop living by your clock and stop chasing the wind, being blown from one thing to the next. God's blessed us all with this precious gift that we must steward wisely. Go be someone's solution today and be blessed.